Chapter 581 What is too much? That water blade is enough to tear the walls of the arena, and its power can be imagined, and the wind splits back and forth. However, after 50 moves, Fengjian could no longer hold on, and he was defeated. In the arena, there are still people who have not played, and only one Yunren is left. Just when the referee wanted to announce the next game, Fujino Ling suddenly raised his hand and said, "That guy doesn't look very strong. Forget it, I won't bully him, I abstain." As soon as these words came out, everyone was shocked. Then, the ninjas in Union Village suddenly became angry. Fujino Ling actually gave them alms. Did they need alms from Fujino Ling? Look down on who? Too arrogant. 3 generations of Hokage, it's too much. Yunren, the leader of the team, looked at the 3 generations of Hokage, and asked angrily. The 3 generations of Hokage did not expect that Fujino Ling would suddenly abstain from the vote. At this time, it is really difficult to explain. Excessive. My own lack of strength, who is to blame? Shajiqing suddenly spoke up and said coldly, "If you want to go too far, I don't mind going to your Union Village to go a little bit too far." As soon as Shajiqing said these words, Yunren's team leader was immediately embarrassed and angry, but even though he was trembling with anger, he didn't dare to speak. Shajiqing really went to Union Village to make a scene, and their Union Village would be a joke. In the end, Yunren's team leader could only press his anger and let it go. Who made their strength inferior to Shajiqing and Konoha? The rest of the people saw Shajiqing and Fujino Ling, and couldn't help sighing in their hearts. What a domineering character printed in a mold. Game over. With the judgment of the referee, this Chunin exam with a strong political meaning is over. Strictly speaking, this Chunin exam, the strength of the personnel is quite high. It's a pity that there are monsters like Tsuruhi, Fujino Ling, and Anmura Nobuomi. So much that geniuses like Darui, Kitu, and Magpie can only be eclipsed. Not to mention others. But whether you can become a Chunin does not depend on the final result, but only depends on whether your strength meets the standard of Chunin. On this point, the leaders of the major ninja villages make their own decisions. The outcome of all games is just for the final score. And the end result is really not entirely satisfactory. Konoha Village, 12 points. Sand Hidden Village, 10 points. Union Village, 7 points. Yenian Village, 6 points. Taki Ninja Village, 4 points. The rest of the ninja village only have 1 point. In this battle, the biggest winner is not Konoha Village, but Taki Ninja Village, which has been unknown for a long time, but suddenly became a blockbuster. And Yenian Village even vomited blood. If it weren't for Konoha's score, Yunren's score should be the same as them. This makes them hate Konoha even more. Therefore, Shajiqing rewarded Fujino Ling with a burst of chestnuts, and taught a lesson: the practice is not good, let's not set an example. After a not-so-friendly meeting, everyone left. Results of the meeting: all the ninjas who passed the second round were promoted to Chunin. After returning to the country of fire, the daimyo already knew the result of the game. The land of fire, the land of wind, is called a joy. In particular, the name of the country of fire, before the name of the 5 major countries, once again confirmed his unquestionable status as the largest country. The Kingdom of Wind also took the opportunity to have a good snort. He was the 4th child of 10,000 years, and now he has become the 2nd child in one fell swoop. How can he not be happy? And the Kingdom of Thunder and the Kingdom of Earth are 2 big names. Their faces are really black like ink, gloomy and scary. Chapter 582 Now she is a rich woman. Especially the famous name of the land, when he learned that he was 1 point away from the country of thunder, and that point was given by the country of fire, he was even more angry. Why is the land of thunder so lucky? His country is not so lucky. After quarreling with each other, in the end, the economic share was also determined. Fire country 35%. The land of wind is 25%. The country of earth and the country of thunder are 25%. For the rest, the small ninja villages are divided by themselves. And the two women, Nobuomi and Mura, who made great achievements, also receive the reward of the name. Nobuomi Yasunori, the Land of Fire, Princess Yoshikawa, going Chinleong. Fujino Ling, the Country of Fire, Xiangling Princess, going 100 Tales. Since then, the two women have the same title of Princess as Tsunade. Nominally, Konoha village can't hurt them casually in the future. They must report the name of the Country of Fire, and make a decision by the name. Ha ha ha, a lot of money. The two women don't care about the title of Princess. What they care about is this rewarded going. Thousands of tales of going. Shajirching did the math for them, and if it was converted into money, it would be as much as 10 million yen. 100 tales is 1 million. Dare, I'm not as rich as you two rich women. Shajirching couldn't help but lose his voice. Of course, he didn't agree to the idea of the two girls thanking him for sharing some of them. He replied, take this money yourself and use it slowly. You can invest and manage your finances. Anyway, you don't need to worry about money for the rest of your life. Hearing Shajirching's arrangement for them, Anmura Nobume and the two couldn't help feeling a little epiphany. No matter how good they are. But after all, they are just two little girls under the age of 14. Don't say 10 million, 1 million. Even if they were suddenly given 100,000 yuan, they would be lost all of a sudden. With Shajirching's face there, coupled with their current identities, Konoha village is naturally jealous of the property in their hands. But don't dare to mess around. However, the news that the two of them had won such a generous reward was spread throughout the entire Konoha village through the dissemination of caring people. Since the two returned to Konoha village, there has been an endless stream of people visiting. Some relatives who were unable to fight with 8 poles in the past have all appeared. It even includes some people who used to ridicule the two of them for being unpromising in the past. All came together. Borrow money, cry poor, ask for relief. That's called a passion, that's called a miserable one, so I can't wait to make offerings to the two girls as bodhisattvas. If it was in the past, the two women might have softened their hearts and rescued them. But after following Shajirching, the two women have seen the dangers of the outside world. For these people who come to the door, they are not seen at all. Do not suffer from widowhood, but suffer from unevenness. The human heart will not be satisfied. Given this, other people will not be satisfied. After the trouble, there may even be an uncontrollable situation of Shengmin and Do Mi Cho. Naturally, they also caused troublemakers to do so. But what are the identities of the two women now? The princess of the Land of Fire, the apprentice of Shajirching. If there is trouble, it will not be Shajirching's action, but also the officials of the Country of Fire. Not to mention that there are two girls behind Shajirching's help. This matter is resolved like this. In Konoha village, who dares to provoke Shajirching? Don't look at the way he smiles. But if anyone dares to cause trouble on his head, there will be endless revenge waiting for him. Chapter 583. You only know how valuable you are when you lose it. A few months ago, there were a few rogues who wanted to take advantage of Shajirching. Finally, in the face of hard evidence, the rogue was directly beheaded by Shajirching in public, and finally died after struggling for a long time. Shajirching's ruthlessness is evident. After the Chunin exams, Anmura Nobume and the two have become leaders, characters of the younger generation in Konoha village, and they are very popular. The strength is strong, the reputation is also big, the key is that the background is still strong. Such people are naturally the targets of the major families. If they can win over the two of them, plus the strength of Shajirching behind them, it will be a great increase in strength. But in the end, the two joined Naruto's lineup, making Minato Naika's a huge boost in strength for a while. The identities of the two were also promoted from Genin to Chunin. After becoming Chunin, the two women could no longer continue to perform tasks with Natsumi Young. But with the current strength of the two, there is really no one other than Shajir who wants to convince them. Don't even think about the 3 generations of Hokage. After all, with the current achievements of the two, unless there is a special temptation, they cannot be shaken at all. What's more, Anmur and Nabume and the two know very well how their achievements now come from. Therefore, they will always be loyal to Shajir in their hearts. This matter gave Namikaze Minato quite a headache. But there is no good solution. Fortunately, the two women never leaked any secrets to Shajir, and they did things for Hokage wholeheartedly, which seemed to be two-sided spies. The results of the two girls are amazing. In just half a year, Fujino Ling has performed 18 A-level missions and 21 B-level missions. Nabume Yasunori did 20 A-level missions and 25 B-level missions. The boys of the young generation were completely out of breath. Shajir was not at all surprised by these two women's achievements. If it weren't for the fact that they were too young now, their experience and qualifications were not enough. They are now on the ninja. No matter how bad it is, it should be a special one. The outstanding achievements of the two girls, naturally, also suddenly attracted the attention of various countries and began to become famous. Nobuya Yasunori called White Killer. Because he often wears white clothes, and Feng Dun is really terrifying, concise and fierce, killing people is really fast and efficient. If it weren't for the lack of chakra, it may be that the elite of the ninja can stop her. She has become an S-class dangerous person in the major shinobi villages. And Fujino Ling is even more feared, explosive witch. Although her strength is not as good as Anmur and Nabume, but because she likes to use detonating charms madly, the body of the enemy is usually crushed by the explosion. That scene was really like a devil descending. Therefore, her deterrent power is stronger than that of Anmur and Nobume, and she is also an S-level dangerous person in each village. But when the two women were so brilliant, there was one person who was secretly jealous and mad. Makuro. Yes, it's Makuro. When Anmur and Nabume and the two women were about to become the pillars of Konoha, he still held back. Still can only perform C-level tasks. B-level tasks, whether Makuro is willing to admit it or not, are beyond his scope of strength. After he really left the 5th class of Shajir, Majoro knew how superb Shajir teaching was. The 4th class that he is currently in, the time spent instructing Shengren is not to mention, and the teaching is still quite unprofessional. Everything is just scripted. Chapter 584 Asakuro's Awakening. It will neither lead to independent thinking, nor will it lead to in-depth analysis. It's really hard to learn something. Unless the talent is quite good. But, thinking of this matter, Majoro just wanted to smile bitterly. I'm just a mediocre person, how can I have any talent? Even the progress of his teammates who came from civilians couldn't keep up, and his talent was extremely mediocre. Not to mention learning anything. Makuro didn't believe that he would be mediocre to such an extreme at first. But the subsequent tests and battles slowly allowed him to accept the reality. He, Makuro, has such a mediocre talent. Only Shajir could polish him into pearls and make him shine. Thinking of this, he bit her Isho again. It turns out that the talent I thought was good, but it was based on the foundation of teacher Shajir. Leaving him, like a castle on the water, collapsed suddenly. Thinking of the past year, his eyes couldn't help but get wet again. From the very beginning, the angry horse in Sheni thought that he was a genius, and that he could shine and shine wherever he could. Later, he was ridiculed by his teammates, and he was despised and ostracized by the guide Junin. Makuro slowly accepted his fate, but he was still unwilling. It's just, so what if you were unwilling, what if you were jealous of the two daughters of Anmur and Nobume? But it was just passing by. No, 3 days ago, his teammates mocked him. He didn't make any progress in a year. I'm afraid even a pig is better than you. Before the change, he must have fought up, but now, whatever. Maybe right. After a boring day of training, Asakuro returned to his home. Dinner, A bucket of instant noodles. This house was bought with the money he saved from the tasks he did when he followed Shajir-Ching, plus Shajir-Ching's financial support. If Shajir-Ching hadn't helped him back then, he would probably still be living in Konoha Sanatorium. This is absolutely unbearable for him who is an orphan, but he is extremely competitive. He didn't allow himself to graduate, and lived in a nursing home like a parasite. Therefore, Shajir-Ching really helped a lot at the beginning. There is a comparison, and I know how beautiful it was when I was in Shajir-Ching's 5th class. But unfortunately, he buried it all by himself. All I can say is, humiliate yourself. It's been a year, and Huodun has not made any progress. What I can do now is to keep practicing the 3-body technique. But what's the use of it? I can't apply what I've learned about the 3-body technique. What's the difference between learning it and bai shui? Ma Kuro leaned against the wall and sighed, washed his hands, and went to refine chakra after dinner. However, Ma Kuro didn't know that he had been observed by someone for several months. Forget it, is it my student? I am too soft-hearted. A certain person took out a scroll from his arms and whispered, Ma Kuro, I hope this training will really make you respectful. Then, he threw the scroll into Ma Kuro's arms and left with a swoosh. Phew! Suddenly being woken up by a heavy object, Ma Kuro couldn't help but be startled. When he opened his eyes, he saw a large scroll in his arms. He couldn't help but be startled, and all he saw was written, Ma Kuro personally opened it. Majoro suddenly had a guess in his heart, and his heart couldn't help but speed up suddenly. He swallowed and opened it. The few big characters that came into his eyes made him tremble with excitement, and tears flowed down all of a sudden. Chapter 585 or Mr. Shajir-Ching. The Essentials of Practice. The first line in his eyes is such 4 big characters, with iron-painted silver hooks, and pen with dragons and snakes, very imposing. Ma Kuro expanded it a little further, and it said, I didn't leave the 3-body technique to practice, I did a good job. It seems that you can still think. This sentence made Ma Kuro almost burst into tears. A series of emotions such as grievance, suffocation, pride all poured out. Only then did he know that that person was still paying attention to him. For a while, he had the feeling of a wandering wanderer who suddenly received a letter from a loved one. The content of this scroll is enough for you to cultivate and advance to Shangnin. If your talent improves, it may not be necessary to become one of the elites. I hope you work hard. I also hope that you are respectful and modest, and you must know that Mushu Yu Lin Zili. If you don't change your arrogance in the past, I will not save you. After reading one line, Ma Kuro was about to cry. So much so that after reading this short 200-word exhortation, his eyes turned red. The content that follows covers the nature of Huodun, changes in shape, as well as the cognition of Huodun, and the transport of chakra. There are also hidden weapons, ninjutsu coordination, fighting techniques, etc., with pictures and texts. In the end, he also presented a spell of wind immortal fire. A total of 20,000 words, usually less than 10 minutes. This time, Majoro read word for 5 hours, and by the time he finished it, it was already midnight. Teacher Shajir-Ching. After reading it, Majoro couldn't help feeling sad, moved, and regretful again, and it was a mixed feeling in his heart. Then, he cheered up and vowed to himself that he would definitely live up to Shajir-Ching's expectations for him. As expected, Teacher Shajir-Ching is amazing. After reading the training instructions Shajir-Ching gave him, Majoro couldn't help but feel a sense of smoothness. I just feel that what the guide Junin said in the past, now I understand it all. Majoro immediately felt the extraordinariness of Shajir-Ching. Then, just follow Shajir-Ching's method. Later, the 4th class's instructor, Kamijin, was surprised to find out. Majoro, who had never been enlightened at first and was scolded by him as a pig's brain, suddenly seemed to be enlightened, and suddenly became extremely intelligent. The progress is called a rapid He thought it was because his teaching level had improved. I wanted to humble myself, but I didn't want to be directly said by Majoro, "You don't know what level you are. Just a mediocrity like you, a genius has been taught to be a fool by you. My progress has nothing to do with you. After all, I know what my level is, and if you want to enlighten me, you are not worthy." With Ma Kuro's words, the angry director, Junin, can be said to be a smoke from the 7 apertures. He announced on the spot that he would fire Ma Kuro and let him fend for himself. But after Hokage learned that, it is not allowed. No way, the director Junin had no choice but to keep Ma Kuro. But he told Ma Kuro bluntly that he would not teach Ma Kuro half a cent from now on. In this regard, Ma Kuro has no fear. Shajirching said that the scroll could enable him to cultivate to the level of Shangnin, so he would definitely be able to. He believed in Shajirching. But this incident also caused some waves in Konoha, and some joinin were slightly hostile to Ma Kuro. Namikaze Minato knew that this kind of thing had to be dealt with, otherwise it would cause trouble later. Because Majoro was a former student of Shajirching, he let him deal with it. Therefore, Shajirching, who was very helpless, had to bring his new students to the 4th class. Chapter 586 Konoha 3 New Stars. To be honest, I'm so disappointed in you. Hearing Shajirching's words, Majoro couldn't help but clenched his lips in frustration, and he couldn't help but feel a little sad in his heart. There, the arrogance of the previous bickering with the guide Junin could be seen, but there was no breeze. The guide around him, Junin, snorted even more, and was quite arrogant. But just when he was disheartened, Shajirching patted him on the shoulder again. "Vivi Isho, however, it's much better than before. After all, I've grown up. I'm proud of you." With just those words, Ma Kuro couldn't help but burst into tears in an instant. Trembling with excitement. "Of course, there is something wrong with your approach as a guide to Jonin." Shajirching turned and walked towards the guide again, his eyebrows twitched, and he said in a somewhat unkind tone. "I often scold my subordinates for being pig brains, but I don't understand. How can we not cause conflicts? Harmony is the most important thing in everything. This kind of thing, Hokage-sama, 3 generations of adults, and our senior management do not want to continue to happen, understand?" To be honest, although Shajirching is kind on weekdays, when he really frowns and is serious, it is quite scary. Years of slaughter and high positions made him so powerful that Danzo and Sandai felt a little uncomfortable. Coupled with his strength, how could this Jonin be able to bear it? Yes. How dare Shangren dare to resist such high-level officials as Shajirching? He is not only a high-level executive of Konoha, but even a high-level executive of the Fire Nation. Few people in Konoha dared to provoke him. Do it yourself. Before leaving, Shajirching patted Majoro's shoulder again. The latter nodded heavily, unable to control himself with excitement. Although the conflict has been settled, the guidance of Junin will naturally not have any good feelings towards Ma Kuro. Favoritism has begun to emerge in all respects. But at this moment, Ma Kuro is no longer afraid. Relying on the essentials of cultivation given to him by Shajirching, his progress is getting faster and faster. At the beginning, it was only able to gain an advantage in the confrontation with teammates. Then, it became the winner, and then crushed, and finally, the 2 teammates together were no longer Ma Kuro's opponent. The following year, in a B-level mission, he encountered A-level betrayal and forbearance, and the guide was defeated and killed. Ma Kuro stepped forward, defeated the rebellion, rescued 2 teammates, and was promoted to Chunin with excellent results in October of the same year. And because of the strength of killing A-level rebellion, he was named Konoha Red Wolf. Good at making fire escape, and fighting fiercely, like a wolf, hence the name. In this regard, Shajirching's 3 students became famous. At the beginning of Konoha's 1954, the 3 of them carried out the border mission of the land together, and worked together to kill 2 S-class rebels. and successfully escaped under the pursuit of the five-tailed person Zuli, and became famous in the ninja world. Known as Konoha 3 Nova. Awarded by various ninja villages, the honor of giving up the task without being punished. Ma Kuro, after 2 years behind the two girls of Yasunori Nobumi, ranks with them again. The three of them are also known as the strongest combination in Konoha village after Pig Deer Butterfly. March. The three passed the Shangnin exam and became the first beings to be promoted to Shangnin in peacetime. The oldest person at the time, Nobuomi Yasunori, was 15 years old. The other two are 14 years old. April. The three challenged Kakashi. Makuro lost. Fujino Ling flat hand. Nobuomi Yasunori wins. Many people were quite surprised by this result. That is Kakashi, the peerless genius of Konoha. It was unbelievable that he would lose to Nobuomi Yasunori, who was 5 years younger than him. Chapter 587 Stand Firm. As for the two girls, Nobuomi Yasunori, they thought that Ma Kuro would go mad after losing, but they were still very worried. But he didn't expect that this time, he was quite calm and accepted the result of failure. This makes them happy. Of course, their excellent performance once again made them the superstars of Konoha. However, the most troublesome thing is that none of the three can be drawn. Only loyal to Hokage. This makes Namikaze Minato very satisfied. Danzo once wanted to incorporate one or two into his root organization. Naruto's current lineup is too strong, and he is uneasy. But Shajirching said that the root organization is not conducive to the development of the three people, and directly refused. In order to win over the three of them, Namikaze Minato naturally gave them what they wanted, powerful ninjutsu. The three of them learned some illusion techniques and sealing techniques under the hint of Shajirching. The effect of illusion has been experienced by the three of them. To escape from the pursuit of the five-tailed person Zuri, Yasun Nobuomi's powerful illusion is a very important reason. Damn Shajirching. In the past 2 years, with the rapid rise of Enkyu Nobuomi and the three of them, secretly I don't know how many people cursed like this. There are other ninja villages, and there are also Konoha villages. For example, Danzo, Mito Gate Flame Stream. Of Shajirching's students, the most dazzling is naturally the three of Anmura Nobuomi. But in the 52nd year of Konoha, that is, after the Chunin exam where the spoils were divided, he took 2 more classes. All graduate in 1 year. And now, these 2 groups of graduates are already Chunin, their strength is not bad, and they are famous outside. Among them, there are many people who Danzo despised before, but are now jealous. But it is a pity that although these people are from civilians, they are all inheritors of the Will of Fire, and they are all from the Hokage faction. Of these people, Danzo didn't get a single one. No way, there are 3 generations of Namikaze Minato, and Shajirching supports him. In addition, Shajirching has a special status and has a great influence. Almost as long as the 3 generations agree, there is nothing he can't do. Therefore, in just 4 years, Konoha has fully recovered under the management of Minato Namaifung, and his economic strength has reached an unprecedented height. Namikaze Minato has the qualifications, strength, and popular aspirations to stand side by side with the 3 generations, all of which are praised. Danzo couldn't hold him back anymore. Up to now, Naruto Minato's position of Hokage has been completely settled, and he has been able to compete with Danzo and a group of advisors. And Shajirching, because he is too good at training students, has been called Professor of Ninja World. The current Konoha is proud of being taught by Shajirching. But unfortunately, Shajirching never taught family children. Only teach ninjas of commoner origin. This made civilian ninjas all become fans of Shajirching, which greatly increased his authority. This is what Namikaze Minato admires. Silently, it has a large number of supporters. The means are really quite clever. However, Minato Namikaze is not worried that Shajirching is not good for Konoha. He could feel that Shajirching was not interested in Konoha's power struggle. Not even interested in Konoha, or even the hegemony of the ninja world. The only things he was interested in seemed to be only two: teaching, and business. In just 2 years, he not only taught a group of pillars to Konoha. More importantly, his business has spread to 7 countries in the ninja world. Now he, not to mention the daily gold, is almost half a fight. The real thing is the wealthy. Chapter 588 God is not fair. I heard that the taxes he pays to various countries every year amount to tens of millions in total. No one knows how much the real income is. After all, these amounts are after various discounts. At first glance, no one would associate this young man who was kind, sunny, handsome, and dressed in a white coat, saving lives and wounds, with a millionaire. You know, Shajirching is only under 20 this year. But his achievements are beyond the reach of many people in their lifetime. With wealth, power, and ability, this kind of man is really excellent. It was enough to press his peers out of breath. Fortunately, there is only the same incomparably monstrous Namikaze Minato of his generation. Hello, Teacher Shajirching. Mr. Shajirching, I want to be your student. Teacher Shajirching. Walking on the street, people kept saying hello to Shajirching. Hee, look at fate. Look at fate. Shajirching also responded with a smile, very polite. It makes sense that everyone wants to be Shajirching's student. First of all, his teaching level is superb, and the learning process is very lively and interesting. Secondly, with Shajirching, the standard of living will also be significantly improved. After all, Shajirching's current net worth is so high, it's easy to invite the students to eat something good. Finally, Shajirching is also superb in medical ninjutsu and can take care of various injuries of students. Most importantly, he is so handsome. Shajirching has now become the Prince Charming in the hearts of Konoha girls. But unlike Shajirching's happy atmosphere here, the Uchiha family belongs to the family. Bastard, this senior Konoha deceives people too much, too much. Let's not talk about moving us to the Konoha border, let the whole village hate us, and greatly reduce our supplies. Is this going to force us to rebel? And that Shajirching, why don't you support us with such good conditions? HMPH, what a good thing Shajirching can be. As a high-level executive, he has no achievements and is weak, and he knows how to scrap people's fat and accumulate dirty capital. A group of people from the Uchiha clan were talking with righteous indignation, and the group was excited. Since the Nine-Tails Rebellion in Konoha 48, Konoha's ninjas have begun to hate them more and more. Among them, Shimura Danzo was the most extreme, even proposing to move them to a border area where birds don't shit. The point is that this excessive proposal has been passed. The people of the Uchiha family are angry and aggrieved. It's so deceiving. Why did they move their dignified Konoha first family to the Konoha border because of an unwarranted crime to be a watchdog? It is bearable, and it is unbearable. If only that was the case. However, other families also looked down on them, and mocked them openly and secretly. When will their Uchiha clan be mocked by them? Therefore, various fighting incidents occur frequently. But the senior officials of Konoha always favor others, and the Uchiha family has always suffered. Before, they endured. They thought that if they took a step back, these people would also take a step back, and everyone was peaceful. But how to say something? Take a step back, it's getting worse. Hold it for a while, the more you think about it, the more you get angry. The concessions of the Uchiha family have not only reduced the prejudice, accusation, and ridicule they received, but have instead increased. Chapter 589 Jumping into the Yellow River can't wash it. Every time they think that some ordinary family members dare to sit on the heads of their Uchiha clan to make trouble and bully them unscrupulously, they want to vomit blood. When did the Uchiha clan have such a low status? So far, they have endured for 6 years. They are not going to endure it any longer. They have had enough. While conscientiously responsible for Konoha's patrol work, he was constantly being criticized by others. They did well, as they should. It's their fault if they don't do it well. Why? They are going to resist. Since the top officials of Konoha are not benevolent to them, then they are also welcome. They are fed up with the malicious suppression by the top officials of Konoha, such as Shimura Danzo, and they are fed up with the hypocritical care of them by Namikaze Minato and others. In short, in their opinion, Namikaze Minato cares about their special preferential policies. Or restoring their original status, calling for peaceful coexistence, etc., are just hypocrisy after the fact. The purpose is just to appease them, to drain their last use value. So, they quit now and don't eat this set. Now that I know how important they are, why didn't I see what you guys had to say when Shimura Danzo raised his opinions? He actually let that humiliating condition pass. They have decided. They want to be the owner of Konoha themselves. They want to control their own destiny. They want revolution, resistance, and overthrow all injustice. They are paranoid, and they selectively forgot about the preferential policies that Bofeng Minato has given them over the years, and also forgot the financial support that Shajirching has given them. All they see is just unfair. They even thought that all the top management of Konoha had done was what they deserved. This is what Konoha owes them. This is the result of their struggle. So, having tasted the sweetness, they decided to continue to fight harder and gain more benefits for them. Until the end, he turned himself over to be the master and became the master of this Konoha. At that time, they must let the family who bullied them in the past pay the price they deserve. Their Uchiha family will not be bullied by anyone. As for whether they can resist successfully, they are confident. Their elders said, "Don't worry about Shajirching, he will be in danger immediately." It won't be long before the entire Konoha is in danger of losing itself. According to reliable sources, there will be foreign enemies invading and spreading Konoha's forces for them. The success rate of their revolution is very high. It's just that they have to solve one thing now, which is to convince their patriarch that Uchiha Fuyu agrees to this matter. But soon, they will be able to convince their patriarch in no time. Even if he never agrees. But it doesn't matter, as long as all the elders agree, his patriarch is just a decoration. Alas, ignorant, I was deceived and even helped people with money. I don't know whether the source is reliable or not, so prepare to rebel. And, if the rebellion was successful, I would have done it already. But Uchiha Fuyu is very clear that they want to rebel successfully. Even if the factor of Shajirching is put aside, at least another 10 years will have to be accumulated. But I can't leave you alone and live alone, and I have to help you take responsibility. After all, who made me the patriarch of the Uchiha clan? Uchiha rebels, who would believe that my patriarch is not responsible? Looking at the excited clansmen under the stage, Uchiha Fuyu couldn't help but sighed in self-deprecation. Chapter 590 Konoha Internal Crisis. The fourth-generation Hokage couple, the third-generation Hokage, and the student Shajirching are not easy ones. Not to mention that there are still many elites in Konoha. How easy is it to rebel? But he is about to be emptied now. These people have gone crazy and completely lost their minds. Now all they can think of is how to rebel. Even if he is the patriarch, as long as he disagrees with their opinions, he will be called a traitor by them. Oh, if I knew this earlier, I arranged for a few more people to enter the Anbu. Only arranging Itachi to join Anbu alone is too little help. Uchiha Fuyu sighed weakly and leaned on the chair behind him. He seems to have seen himself wait for the people to fail in revolt and then be executed collectively. Although he didn't know who was secretly inciting these clansmen, he gave them such great confidence. But he knew that he must have something to do with the senior management of Konoha village. The Uchiha clan is trying to rebel. Why aren't the senior officials of Konoha watching out for them all the time? Although the policies given to them by the 4 generations are getting better and better, the financial support is also getting more and more inclined. But what's the use? And it didn't work. On the contrary, Danzo's surveillance on them has been strengthened. Despite the increased surveillance, 99% of them are Danzo's private actions. However, even if Danzo and Shaddai were not in the same group, would his clansmen believe it? Probably not. In their eyes, people like the fourth generation and Danzang are just a white face and a red face. The ultimate goal is to suppress their Uchiha clan. Alas! There are all kinds of complicated melancholy in my mind, completely incomprehensible. Uchiha Fuyu can't help but sigh. He began to wonder how to grasp the future of the Uchiha family. He also began to be confused and hesitant. Everything in the future, how to develop, what kind of road will it go? He has no point in his mind. The other side. Root tissue. How is it, Danzo, how are the idiots of the Uchiha clan now? Mito Menion's eyes flashed with terrifying light, and he asked impatiently. Don't worry, Menyan, don't you worry about my work. Shimura Danzo sat across from him with a face full of bamboo. How are the other 3 ninja villages and the foreign aid organization being contacted? Mito Menion asked again. It's almost the same. The 2-year competition has made the Land of the Land and the Land of Thunder dissatisfied for a long time. As soon as I communicated with them, we immediately hit it off. In addition, this time Wuyin Village also participated. The winning rate has improved a lot. When the time comes, just wait for our order. Yenian Village, Union Village, and Wuyin Village will send troops. As for that organization, it's just an eye-opener for money. Don't worry, they will do good things when they receive the money, and I can rest assured about their reputation. Just wait for the day of success. There will never be any mistakes. Hearing Danzo's words, Mito Menyon was still a little uneasy, and asked, can that organization really kill Shajircheng? Don't be a half-assed person, then we will all be in danger. The thing that Mito Menyon cares about most is still whether he can kill Shajircheng. This thing is the top priority. If this matter is difficult to handle, then in his opinion, the rest of the matter will not be able to be carried out at all. Chapter 591 Power Moves People's Hearts. As for whether Konoha Village can win against Yenian Village, Union Village, and Wuyin Village at the same time, he doesn't care at all. Because he believed in Konoha's strength. Moreover, he and Danzo have made corresponding military preparations. I have the confidence to drive away these 3 ninja villages. But he didn't think about what kind of disaster it would bring to Konoha if he couldn't. In the past few years, in order to deal with Shajircheng, he has already completely conspired with Danzang. He also joined the great plan of Danzo, to create the 4th Ninja World War outside, and to create Konoha Uchiha's rebellion internally, so as to seize Konoha's right to speak. Become the only person who has the right to speak among Konoha. Mito Menyon is an old fox. Although he didn't see that he was used by Danzo at first, he became the unlucky person who helped him take the blame. But with more contact and more thinking, Mito Menyon naturally found out that something was wrong. Under the pressure of Mito Menyon, Danzo had no choice but to confess his plan to Mito Menyon. Completely pull Mito Menyon into the water. At first, Danzo thought that after Mito Kazuto listened to his plan, he would resist. To this end, he even prepared swordsmen. As long as Mito Menyon's state is not right, he will deal with Mito Menyon immediately, and he can't let him ruin his plan. But he underestimated the ambition of his comrade in arms. After listening to his plan, Mito Menyon showed ecstasy. Although there was only so much time, it was still accurately captured by Danzo. Only then did he know that he was not the only one who coveted the position of Hokage. But Mito Menyon also said, I know my abilities, and my power is not as good as yours. I know my position. I will participate in this revolution, and I will not compete with you for the position of Hokage, but I want you to grant me the right of first advisor after becoming Hokage. The first advisor is where Danzo is now. Danzo thought about it, and then agreed. What he has is a way to check and balance Mitomen inflammation. Moreover, a Konoha is so big that he can't manage it alone, so giving Mitomen Yan great power is a good way. Moreover, there are other advisors who divide his power and check and balance him. It is impossible for him to challenge his own majesty. Moreover, with the addition of Mitomen Yan, the success rate will be even greater. Danzo even has an even bolder idea. If he fails, he will put all the blame on Mitomen Yan and let him be his scapegoat. Of course, this kind of thing is all about each other. He believed that Mitomen Yan almost had the same idea. Use each other as a scapegoat. Of course, if they were still second-generation Hokage disciples back then, or if the second-generation Hokage were still in power, they would never have had such nasty thoughts. But now, it can only be said that power has completely corrupted them. What comrades in arms, what brotherhood, what fetters, what will of fire? Where existing interests matter. For the sake of profit, they can even betray Konoha, putting it in a dangerous situation that may perish. Not to mention the mere comrades in arms. They have already been ruthless, and the 6 relatives do not recognize them. In their eyes, only their own interests are the most important, and they are completely selfish. After the 2 old foxes had a new discussion, they determined that their plan was indeed feasible, and after there were no loopholes, they began to repair and improve it. Chapter 592 Stupid Decision. Now is not the best time. They still have some background. So, they have to keep lurking. And this is what they both want to see the most. This matter is very important, and there can be no mistakes. Any mistakes are fatal. Success is just one step away from failure. They don't allow themselves to fail. Meanwhile, elsewhere. Rock Hidden Village. Ha ha ha, what a stupid decision, Shimura Danzo. No matter how brilliant your previous record is, no matter how calculating you are. But this time, you really made a big mistake. But it doesn't matter, I don't have any loss, but I can get more benefits, why not do it? Anamu said with a sarcastic look on the corner of his mouth. Shimura Danzo, this incident will definitely become a stain on your life. It seems that you are really carried away, you can think of this kind of thing. Before this, it was absolutely impossible. In your mind, there is absolutely no chance of such a mistake. Onogi squinted his eyes. Sarutobi Hizen, you don't think about it. When you worked hard to develop Konoha and strengthen Konoha, your good brother, former comrade in arms, was thinking about how to dismantle your stage. Weaken Konoha. Quote. Shimura Danzo, you deserve to be the 5th Hokage just with your trash. It's beyond your own power. Hey, I seem to have seen the day when Konoha was destroyed. As the 3rd generation of Earth Shadows, Onogi knows too well what kind of abilities a shadow needs. Shimura Danzo. Forget it, even his kind of rubbish who only plays tricks and secretly harms people, he also wants to take charge of a ninja village like Konoha. It's just a chicken knife to kill a cow, it's beyond your own power. He is now looking forward to watching Konoha decay in Danzo's hands. Farther overseas. The Land of Thunder, Union Village. It's a God-given opportunity, Shimura Danzo, since you want to give us a chance, then we're welcome. The 4th Raikage held a piece of information in his hand, and the more he looked at it, the more happy he became. It's really stupid. I didn't expect that Shimura Danzo in the darkness of the ninja world would one day stumble. The secretary of the 4th Raikage, Mabuyi, couldn't help laughing when he saw the content of the information. In her opinion, Shimura Danzo's practice is simply digging a grave for Konoha village. If he really followed his approach, even Konoha successfully drove away the invaders. His Shimura Danzo successfully ascended the position of the 5th Hokage. However, he doesn't have much Hokage talent. After taking over a dilapidated Konoha after becoming Hokage, can it really stabilize and develop? There is a shortage of troops, people's hearts are fluctuating, and all kinds of problems are placed in front of him. If it can't be solved in time and effectively, it might be a civil strife. At this time, will other shinobi villages just watch? No, of course not. Azabui can say with certainty. If there is such an opportunity, the Union village will immediately kill the carbine. He ripped off a piece of meat from the tiger, Konoha, and strengthened himself. Who doesn't want the heritage of the first ninja village? At that time, how will he, Konoha, deal with the coveting of various powerful enemies without the excellent admiral? What Mabui said is not an alarmist nor an exaggeration. Chapter 593 Old Confused, Danzo. After all, according to Danzo's idea, the 3 generations of Hokage will surely die. Shajirching will also be seriously injured in a coma. No one can't wake up in a year or two. Namikaze Minato will also be seriously injured and imprisoned by him. It can be said that he broke Konoha's arm and reduced Konoha's troops. In fact, Konoha village, which was once in a hurry, may be destroyed just like this, disappearing into the long river of time. Fourth Raikage. It's really cruel, even willing to attack his comrades. However, Shimura Danzo may have forgotten. What about killing the 3 major Hokage, imprisoning the 4th Hokage, and severely damaging Shajirching? Does he think this 5th Hokage will get him? Not to mention the 1st generation, the granddaughter of the 2nd Hokage, the 3rd Hokage disciple, Tsunade, one of the 3 princesses of the Fire Kingdom. It is the teacher of the 4th generation of Hokage, one of the 3 ninjas of the 3rd generation of Hokage, Jiraiya, and there are more supporters than him. Unless he can kill Jiraiya and Tsunade all at once. Neither of these 2 are easy people. Hey, Danzo, what are you going to do? As long as there is turmoil in Konoha, Jiraiya, one of the 3 ninjas, won't watch it. With his appeal, your efforts are likely to become his achievements, and everything you do will eventually become someone else's wedding dress. On the other side, other countries to the west of the Land of Fire. In Yuyan Village, where the Shao organization is located, there are also many people discussing this matter. But without exception, it's all sarcasm. Watch the show. Danzo's idea, their unanimous behavior, it can be described as a foolish move. Back to Konoha Village. Hello, Teacher Shajirching. In a semi-open private room in the summer charcoal specialty store, a group of 9 people divided into 3 groups. After seeing Shajirching coming in, they could not help but respectfully say out. They looked into Shajirching's eyes, admiration, gratitude and excitement, all kinds of emotions. Hee, I've kept you waiting for a long time. Shajirching squinted her eyes and responded with a smile. These 9 people are exactly the 3 graduating classes he has brought over the years. Nobuomi Yasunori and the 3 of them are one of them. There is nothing else to call you here today, just get together. To save you from saying that you haven't seen me for a long time, and that you miss me again, it will give me a headache. After Shajirching was seated, like the big brother next door, he chatted with them without any airs. Soon, the atmosphere was lively. Of course, Shajirching's purpose was not just to chat with them. Of course he has something to look for these people. I heard that Danzo has changed recently. Sakanuro. 3 rounds of wine. Shajirching glanced at one of them and asked. Yes, Teacher Shajirching, he has been very close to Elder Mito Gate Yan recently. I always feel like they're planning something bad for Konoha. The young man named Sakanuro replied. He seems to be only 13 years old, and his appearance is quite honest, but who would know that he is an elite of Anbu? Walking very close to Mito Gate. Wouldn't it be detrimental to Teacher Shajirching? Hearing Sakajiru's words, Anmura Nobumi's eyes narrowed immediately, and murderous intent flickered. After several years of training, the current Anmura Nobuomi is no longer the submissive girl she used to be. Although it still looks so peaceful, once it is serious, it is extremely sharp. Chapter 594 Undercurrent is turbulent. If he dares to be detrimental to Teacher Shajirching, I will try my best to kill him. Majoro said fiercely, the most fierce. The rest also nodded. They will never allow anyone to hurt their teacher Shajirching. What are you bastards talking about? Is this the kind of thing you should say? After hearing this, Shajirching couldn't help but waited for a look at these people. I teach you ninjutsu for you to protect Konoha. It is for you to use it for self-defense and to protect your own safety, not for you to cause turmoil. Yes. After listening to Shajirching's words, these people couldn't help sticking out their tongues, with an innocent expression on their faces. Sakanaro, continue to pay attention to Danzo and the others, they are likely to be detrimental to Konoha. Konoha is a piece of pure land, and the 4 generations of Hokage are also a heroic existence. No one is allowed to destroy this kind of harmony. As for Mito Menyon, don't worry, he wanted to harm me, hundreds of years too soon. Shajirching ordered. Yeah, I see, Sakajalang responded and fell silent. Konoha has people like teacher Shajirching. It's really a blessing that has been cultivated in several lifetimes, but some people just don't cherish it, and even want to destroy it. It's really worth killing. Fujino Ling suddenly said, his face was full of sarcasm. As for who the person who should be killed in her mouth is, it is unknown. Okay, that's it, pay more attention. Shajirching let out a sigh of relief, and said in his heart, isn't Konoha 54 years old and can't stand it anymore, Danzo? In this life, because of Shajirching's appearance, Namikaze Minato did not die. Therefore, the relationship between Konoha and the Uchiha family has eased. However, it seems that there are still many contradictions and misunderstandings. Shajirching could feel the undercurrent surging in Konoha. Moreover, according to the news from his Chamber of Commerce, Yuyan Village, Yenian Village, Union Village, and several other ninja villages are not very safe. In particular, Yenian Village and Union Village are already ready to move. It's an eventful autumn. Shajirching has also lived in this Konoha for 6 years, and has some sense of belonging here. Although I didn't think about stopping the Uchiha clan's rebellion. However, he did not want to see Konoha turmoil. Therefore, an exploration team of the Chamber of Commerce was formed. It is impossible to have no intelligence organization anywhere. Shajirching, who has experience in controlling major forces, understands this very well. It's just that there are always some people who don't want Konoha to settle down. This made Shajirching very disgusted. If it hadn't been for Minato and Sandai Hokage to persuade him, and he also didn't have enough evidence to prove that the wicked person who disturbed Konoha was Shimura Danzo, he would have destroyed Danzo's nest long ago. Although I don't agree with Danzang's behavior, I have to say that Danzang's way of doing things is still very clever and watertight. Even Shajirching's observation haki can't invade into his root organization. The forbidden sealing technique blessed in the conference room can isolate observation haki. Moreover, I just wanted to sneak in and listen to what he was doing, but I couldn't do it. Whenever he had something important to discuss, he would always be under martial law. With that level of vigilance, it was difficult for Shajirching to sneak in. Who let his root organization have people from the Hinata clan? Chapter 595 The Calm Before the Storm. The effect of that white eye is really insightful, and it can see through every cell of your heart, liver, and lungs. To this end, Natsumi can only use the ability of observation haki to communicate with animals and let them be spies. Then, get the memory of a few words, piece together and add it by yourself, and get the general information after a reasonable analysis. As far as the current information is concerned, as Shajirching guessed, Danzo is going to take action against the Uchiha family. It's just that I don't know how long it will take. Naruto office. The storm is coming. Shajirching sighed as he looked at Minato and Hokage 3. Yes. Both of them nodded in agreement. They all have their own intelligence channels, and naturally they all know some secret things. I just didn't expect that Menyan would also be involved in it. As for Danzo, alas. The 3 generations of Hokage Sarutobi Hyjin said with a bit of disappointment. If you look closely, you will find the faint murderous intent in his eyes. For him, as long as it is a threat to Konoha's safety. Even if that person is his comrade in arms, he can make a ruthless attack. Hearing the words of the 3 generations, Shajirching felt awe in his heart. Obviously, in his words, Danzo belongs to someone who is sure to die, and Mito Menyon can also consider keeping a living. In the original book, Konoha's fighting power was insufficient due to the Nine Tails Rebellion and the death of Namikaze Minato. In addition, the existence of Danzo is needed to deter the quartet, ensure the stability of Konoha, and deal with some dark things. Therefore, even if Danzang goes too far, he will just scold him a few words, and it's over, he won't do anything to Danzang. But now, Danzo does not have such a good life. Namikaze Minato did not die, and Konoha's combat power was not only not damaged, but increased. Konoha has no external worries and less internal turmoil. At this time, Danzo, who is already too powerful, if he dares to go out of his way, he will be greeted by 3 generations of bloody treatment. The lightest is also captivity, and deprivation of all powers. The heaviest, death. If only we could stay safe, the big family of Konoha will definitely be stronger. Namikaze Minato said so. But unfortunately, some people just won't let you do. Shajirching pondered Isho, and then left. Seeing the back of Shajirching leaving, Sandai and Minato Namikaze couldn't help squinting. In fact, in their hearts, the biggest threat to Konoha is Shajirching. Instead of some Danzo, Mito Gate Flame and his ilk. But so far, Shajirching has not shown any disadvantage to Konoha. Because, even if the 2 are very jealous of him, they can only endure it first. On some huge island farther away. This is the country of water, one of the 5 major countries, and the location of Wuin Village. Kinoha Village, hum. Since Shimura Danzo wants to give us a chance, how could I miss such a good opportunity? Konoha, feel my pain, and remember this pain forever. A masked man with half of his body hidden in the darkness, his face contained excitement, savagery, etc., and said in a low voice. Even because he was too excited, his body trembled. Although the interior of Konoha village has been turbulent, on the surface, it is still calm. Everyone still performs their duties, making Konoha look quite stable. But more and more people have noticed the unusual atmosphere. But I noticed that there are very few people who really know the source of this instability. Chapter 596 3 Ninja Villages, Invasion. In this way, the time is in the midst of instability, and came to the 54th year of Konoha. February 15th. The sun on this day is very big, the sun is quite abundant, and it is warm on people. The breeze blows from time to time, gently and softly, making people feel sleepy. The streets are also bustling, and the people have smiles on their faces, talking to each other. Sing in a low voice, talk in a big way, what a picture of all beings in the spring scene. Originally, all this should be quite beautiful and stable. Even Shajirching sipped a little wine and lay lazily admiring the scenery. But 3 urgent reports of life and death from different directions broke this peace and stability. Urgent report. Union Village, Yenian Village, and Wuin Village sent troops at the same time, a total of 35,000, and they are coming. When I heard the news, to be honest, even Minato and Hokage 3 could not help but feel chills on their scalps and chills all over. The information on this that I saw reads, Yenian Village, 12,000 troops, leader, Watai Village 2, high-level combat power, Wuweiran Zulihan, Lois, Kitu, hunting, Didera. Union Village, 13,000 troops, leader, Mo, high-level combat power, 8-tailed Manzuli, 2-tailed Manzuli, Darui. Wuin Village, 10,000 troops, leader, 4 generations of Mizukage Yagura, advanced combat power, 7 people of ninja swords. With such a force, I am afraid that even with the power of Konoha, it will be difficult to fight against it. Only when Konoha Sannin was still there, the troops were sufficient, and the interior was stable, could they be able to fight. Now that the undercurrent is surging inside Konoha, and this kind of stubble has appeared outside, it really makes the scalp numb, and it can't be dealt with at all. So many people have been dispatched, it really makes people have to panic and be afraid. This time, even Shajirching couldn't help showing a dignified look. Even for him, it would be difficult for him to fight against 3 ninja villages at the same time. Especially when there are so many troops. These people are determined to perish Konoha. The face of the 3 generations of Hokage is also abnormally solemn. This lineup is even more severe than the Third Ninja World War. At the beginning, the major ninja villages were only coming in waves one after another, and there was still a chance to breathe. But now, there is really no chance to breathe, and at the same time it is coming. Even the 3 generations of Hokage can't help but feel despair. 3 generations of Hokage said, "Hurry up and hold the Shangnan conference, you must make a decision as soon as possible. There is no delay." Namaifeng Minato, Shajirching and the 2 have no opinion. And just when they held a meeting, somewhere in Konoha village, Uchiha Zishui stood quietly in place, with a firm look flashing across his face. "I will stop the rebellion, but I will never let you take advantage of it, Danzo. It's impossible for me to agree to your excessive demands. If you dare to coerce, I won't be polite to you. If you have a seed, try it out, it's a big deal." Although Uchiha Shisui has the will of fire, this does not mean that he is stupid and loyal to Konoha, and he will follow any instructions from Konoha. Hokage's correct order, he will obey. However, Danzo's order is not necessarily so. He will have choices to execute. He is very aware of the wolf ambitions of this person Danzo. Isn't he the one who caused the current state of the Uchiha family? Chapter 597th Condition of Group Possession. Uchiha Shisui, what do you think about my conditions? You should know that your Uchiha clan has no way out now. The conditions that the old man gave you are already the most tolerant and reasonable, and it is also the best result your Uchiha clan can get. Danzo came here with a group of subordinates, looked at Uchiha Shisui, and said proudly. His conditions are very simple, the same as the conditions he proposed to Uchiha Itachi in the original. That is, let Uchiha Shisui participate in the suppression of the Uchiha clan's rebellion. In return, Danzo can spare Uchiha Itachi and Uchiha Sasuke on behalf of the top management. If it is really the plot in the original work, Uchiha Shisui may agree. After all, at this time in the original book, Minato has been dead for 6 years, and Shajirching does not exist. At that time, the situation was bleak. There is no hope for the Uchiha clan. Promising to the group is indeed the best result, whether it is in Konoha village or in the Uchiha family. But now, times have changed. Uchiha Zishui firmly believes that there will be better results for him to choose. He believed in Minato, Shajirching. These 2 people, there must be a better way to solve the rebellion. Therefore, his answer is, "I refuse, Danzo-sama. I believe that Naruto-sama will make a better choice. If there is nothing else, I will leave." After speaking, he clasped his fists and planned to leave. "You are courting death." But after Danzo heard this decision, his face was extremely gloomy. He actually rushed to Uchiha Shisui and launched an attack on him. The members of the root organization behind him also immediately surrounded Shisui Uchiha. Prevent him from escaping and affect Danzo's actions. Golden Binding. Uchiha Zishui was naturally on guard against Danzo, but he did not forget that Shajirching once told him to be careful with Danzo. Danzo was instantly frozen. Before the people from the root organization could react, Uchiha Shisui disappeared in a swish. Between a few moves, there were many phantoms, and all the members of the root organization fell. Vulnerable. After such a low voice, Uchiha Shisui turned around and left. He said, "Lord Danzo, please stay here for 2 hours." After 2 hours. Before he finished speaking, there was a sound of breaking the sky behind him. He couldn't help being startled, and turned around immediately, only to see that Danzo's speedy seal was released on him by an illusion. Uchiha Shisui couldn't help but stun for a moment, and immediately unlocked the illusion, but Danzo's hideous face was already in front of him. His hand was like a shooting star, and Uchiha Shisui watched as his hand stabbed into his own eyes. Then, with a hard grab, he grabbed one of his writing wheels. Ah! Such a sudden change was completely unexpected by Uchiha Shisui. But things are not good for him, so leave quickly, he must stop the Uchiha clan rebellion from happening. He believed that there must be a way to solve the rebellion. But how could Danzo let him go? Danzo came here today with the idea of not leaving alive. It's about time to execute his plan, and he won't let go of anyone who might affect his plan. In his heart, Uchiha Shisui is already a dead man. Chapter 598. The mountains and the rain are coming and the wind is filling the building. Several members of the root organization appeared in front of Uchiha Shisui, blocking his way. Fire escape. How fireball technique. Uchiha Shisui quickly released a super large flame ball, and immediately forced these people back. Then, a teleportation technique left. Seeing this scene, Danzang couldn't help clenching his teeth. He didn't expect his subordinates to be so bad. Not even a single injured person can catch up. But he will never let Uchiha Shisui go, so keep chasing him away. And while they were chasing like this, among Konoha, the summoning order of Shinjin was resounding throughout the core area of Konoha. All Junin, go at the same time. Anmura Nobomi said in her heart. It seems that the matter of Mr. Shajirching's shun is about to happen after all. The rest of the Junin's heart probably thinks the same way. The arrival of this moment can be said to be in their expectations, but also beyond their expectations. Because it came a little too fast. However, when everyone arrived, they discovered a very interesting thing. Shimura Danzo of Hokage Consultant was not there, but Mito Gate Yan was sitting there, as if it had nothing to do with him. And the most amazing thing is that none of the Uchiha clan's Jonin arrived. The heart against Konoha has been made public. This is not unexpected. After all, they all feel the Uchiha clan's rebellion. However, Shimura Danzo is not there. This thing is really interesting. What is he doing? This kind of critical time is not there, but it is very imaginative. Sooner or later, but at this time, it is a coincidence. Looking at the third Hokage with a gloomy face, the fourth Hokage with a slightly dignified face, and Shajirching with a calm and indifferent face. Everyone thinks that this Shangnan meeting may be very interesting. After everyone fully arrived, the three generations of Hokage glanced at the audience, everyone quieted down, and then the meeting began. At the same time as the Shangnan meeting, the Uchiha clan. You are blatantly disobeying Konoha, do you have to start at such a time? Uchiha Fuyu looked at the old Uchiha who were blocking him in front of him, extremely angry, and asked gloomily. Yes, not at this time, where will there be such a good opportunity in the future? Don't think about it, things have already started to happen just as that person said. This is our best chance. At this time, the top executives of the wood industry are completely out of control, and our success rate is the highest. Patriarch Uchiha Fuyu, now, it's impossible for you to stay out of it. As the patriarch of the Uchiha clan, we rebel, even if you don't do anything, you can't be innocent, and you will even be questioned as the first criminal. Come on, patriarch, join us, we need your strength. Let the men overthrow the oppression together, turn over and become the masters, we are the masters of this Konoha. A group of Uchiwa old crazy bewitched road. Coercion and inducement, nothing more. Alas. Hearing these people's words, Uchiha Fuyu couldn't help sighing heavily. The expression is quite lonely, and the loneliness is mixed with a trace of disappointment and anger. Behind him, Uchiha Makoto looked at him with a worried expression, and couldn't help pinching the corners of her clothes. All of this in the clan happened so fast that it was too late for people to react. She could even be said to be caught off guard. Chapter 599 Uchiha Rebellion. Fuyu, you. Uchiha Makoto wants to persuade Uchiha Fugaku not to agree. However, she looked at the elders in front of her who were glaring at her, and the clansmen took a look, and couldn't help but sigh deeply. Now, where can they stay out of trouble? The moment they had this thought, they were half-footed into hell. Now in front of them, there is only one choice, rebel. Otherwise, there is only one dead end. Konoha will never tolerate a group with rebellion and continue to live in Konoha. It seems like a minute, and it seems like a year. No one knows how much Uchiha Fuyuke, the patriarch, has been thinking about in this minute. But the moment he opened his eyes, his aura had completely changed. Sharp, confident, without any confusion. Go. He spit out 2 words coldly, murderous intent awe-inspiring. Yes. Hearing Uchiha Fuyu's decision, all the Uchiha clan members jumped up in excitement and screamed wildly. Then, they rushed out in a swarm. Boom. Just 2 seconds after these people rushed out, Uchiha Fuyu staggered backwards, as if all his strength had been emptied out of his body. Is this really the only way, Fuyu? Uchiha Makoto supported him with a bitter face. She could feel the fluctuations in her husband's heart. The husband, who has always been confident, steady, and indifferent, is now trembling all over. It takes a lot of courage to make this decision. Especially Uchiha Fugaku is not a supporter of the rebellion policy. It can only be like this, even if I know that they are hitting the stone with an egg, I can only do this. If you don't let them experience despair, they will not die. Even if I suppress them, they will only blame me and continue the rebellion. That will only reduce their vitality even more. Uchiha Fuyu glanced at his wife apologetically, and said, I'm sorry, I have troubled you, and involved you who are innocent. Uchiha Makoto stretched out her hand to block Uchiha Fuyu's mouth, shook her head, pulled out a slight smile and said, husband and wife are a pair, and they are in trouble together. As long as it's you, it doesn't matter. It's not just death, there's nothing to fear. As he spoke, Uchiha Makoto's tears flowed down, and she said in a trembling voice, it's just Itachi and Sasuke, they were so young they were. Speaking of which, Uchiha Makoto was already crying. Uchiha Fuyu took her into his arms and sighed heavily. What does it mean to jump into the yellow river can't be washed away, now it is. Father, how can this? At this time, a figure suddenly rushed in. He was a little disbelieving at Uchiha Fuyu, and said a little angrily. This is probably the general trend, Itachi. You also know the thoughts of the people in the clan, so you should also know that they can't persuade them. There is only one thought in their minds now, and that is rebellion. Uchiha Fuyu's words are extremely weak. The person who came, it was Uchiha Itachi. He could also feel the powerlessness and bitterness of his father. He gritted his teeth and rushed out again, causing Uchiha Fugaku to shout, Itachi, come back, you can't stop them. He thought that Uchiha Itachi was going to stop the rebellious clansmen. But he was surprised to see that Uchiha Itachi rushed towards the Hokage building. Chapter 600 Strict Deployment. That's fine. Maybe this is the best outcome. Uchiha Fuyu is confused now. He is completely unable to think normally. Hokage building, conference room. The enemy is approaching, and we need to respond immediately. I propose to send 21,000 troops and divide them into 3 teams to fight. Also, for Yenian village, we can ask Sandian village for help. This will also reduce the pressure between us. What do you guys think? It was the 3 generations of Hokage who spoke. He was someone who had experienced 2 wars, and he made the most reasonable response all at once. There is no problem with the deployment itself, however, we are currently lacking a team leader. We don't have anyone else who can lead the team except for you, Lord Sandai. The person who spoke next was Shikahisa Nara. Fourth Hokage, Advisor Shajirching needs to stay in the village to guard against unpreparedness. Among the remaining people, Chief Hyuga and the 3 chiefs of Arzuluti have leadership skills. However, the enemy's high-level combat power is too much, but we can't deal with it. We also need more ninjas with strong strength and leadership ability to fight against the enemy. Otherwise, we will be at a disadvantage in combat power. Without a strong commander on the battlefield, it will be difficult to boost morale and guide the situation. It could even lead to more serious morale problems. After listening to Nara Shikahisa's words, everyone couldn't help being silent. Yes, as Nara Shikahisa said, with the current strength of Konoha, there is no shortage of basic troops, but there is a lack of high-level combat power. There used to be Sanin, but now, there are no more. Orochimaru defected, Tsunade was afraid of blood, the only one who could fight Jiraiya, and there was no news. They all thought in their hearts, if only Jiraiya was there. Almost all the people present were ninjas who had experienced war. It is very clear that without a strong and qualified commander, the already unfavorable battle situation will become even worse. The commander is the sole pillar of a team. Only those with great prestige, great strength and great wisdom can be competent. Its importance is self-evident, and Jiraiya has this ability. The atmosphere in the conference room suddenly became a little depressing. Don't worry about this matter, I have contacted Master Jiraiya, and he will join this war. And he will serve as the commander of Union Village. At this time, the 4th Hokage Wavefeng Minato suddenly made a sound, which made everyone excited and heaved a sigh of relief. Okay, if Jiraiya-sama joins, then there will be no problem. The 2 commanders are already in place, so you can fight with confidence. Nara Shikahisa's face was relieved, and the pressure was greatly reduced. Then, he continued, according to the procedures of the previous war, Haiyi and I will be deployed in the middle, leading the intelligence unit and the communication unit to be responsible for designating and conveying instructions. Dingza and the Inuzuka clan are in charge of logistics and transportation. When necessary, join the battle. The rest of the family and all the ninjas, wholeheartedly participate in the war. After saying that, Nara Shikahisa looked at Namikaze Minato. No problem, very detailed decision, so it's decided. Namikaze Minato, the 3 generations of Hokage nodded one after another. Then, Union Village sent 10,000 troops. Fuin Village sent 8,000 troops. Sandian Village supports 3,000 people. How would you like to distribute troops like this? Nara Shikahisa spoke up again and made a force deployment.